Morning, it's a cold one. There's the new planted garlic. They're looking a bit sorry for himself now they're frosted. But the sprouts will be enjoying it. So we're nearly out of this pile of firewood. Now this is pine. I wouldn't normally burn pine. We've had this drying in the garden for years. In fact, the carpenter ants have eaten a lot of it away, so it's really tinder dry. And we cut these down years ago because on Christmas Day about 7 years ago, we took Gracie out for a walk. We came back and of course the turkey was in the oven, and usually dogs sit by the oven and wait for the turkey to come out in case it accidentally falls on the floor. She just wasn't interested. And then she started salivating and she was just really off everything. And then we looked at her tongue the next morning, Boxing Day morning, and it was all green and black. It was like necrotic. Well, it was necrotic. We took her straight to the vets, and actually what she'd managed to do, or what the vet's theory was, that she'd stood on a processionary pine caterpillar and then kind of licked a paw because it had burnt a paw, and it had taken part of her tongue out. We were absolutely petrified. We actually said to the vet, is she going to live? And he went, yes, but she has been very lucky, and she's lost a part of her tongue. She's got a little hole in her tongue, on the fringes of her tongue, where it just killed the skin. And there has been cases of dogs eating the pine processionary caterpillar, and once it's in the stomach and they've digested it, then it just rots the stomach away. She was really, really lucky. Came back from the vets and immediately cut the trees down. I think we had 7 pine trees. There's some pine trees over there, and I can't immediately see them, but they're like a big ball of cotton wool up in the top of the trees. And we'd seen the pine processionary caterpillars, not realising what they are, because as the name suggests, they actually follow each other around. So we'd seen them kind of squash, lines of them in the road, and we didn't actually realise what they were at the time. But they are a pest here, and I know now they're in sort of the southern England as well, and I think DEFRA in the southern England are really trying to stamp them out. They put like a collar around the tree and a bag on to kind of swallow the procession up as they come down the trees. So that's the last of the pine trees that have been down in the bottom corner down there for 7 years maybe. I wouldn't normally burn them, but they're so tinder dry we're going to get rid of them. We've got probably still a cubic metre, 2 cubic metres of firewood around the side of the house, and I've got bits of firewood dotted around the garden. I've got little bits over here, but down in the bottom woods I've got bits I need to pull out. So as I empty that container there, I'm going to cut all this up and then just dry this. It's all dead. There is some standing dead trees. There's some over there and there's a patch down there. So I'm going to cut them up, put them in there under sheet for maybe a month or so, and then once we've got rid of all that firewood round the side of the house and at the side of the barn, we'll burn that, and then we'll go and buy some for the rest of the year. And there is a couple of trees that are coming down anyway that will be logged and then kept for, well, maybe not for next year, maybe the year after. I'd like to keep them for a couple of years really. Sadly, as nice as the last few days have been, there's rain forecast tonight and then over the next few days, so let's get bits of firewood we've got out here covered up, and then it's already started the drying process. That's my little 2020 pile. I've already taken the other pile, but this part here, we was lucky enough to be here in the lockdowns in 2020, and this part of the garden we had never ventured into. It was just totally overgrown. So one of the things I did in March, April, May time, somewhere in that year, was clear this out and it was back to bare bones. So I need to clean all this out and put it under cover, but it's actually getting to a point now where it needs a bit of another trim. And actually I'm probably going to, over the next week or two, just take out some of these trees that are too dense. There's some nice trees in here, oak trees mostly, that I want to keep, but there's sometimes a tree there that's just, oh, a stone tree there, it's just dead. Look, so try not to kill the other one at the side of it. There we go. Timber. Until I started taking French lessons, I always assumed that when Lumberjack shouted timber, or the stereotypical shout of timber, was meant that they'd fall in timber. But actually, timber comes from the French verb tomber, which means falling. So actually you should shout tombre and not timber. But hey, there you go, we've anglicised everything. So yeah, so there's a few things I just need to clear out down here. This here is a walnut. We found it a few years ago, maybe in the same time, and it's just like a single stem that's reaching for the sun, probably because these trees around here are hogging the daylight. So it'd be nice to trim them back and see whether we can get it to establish in a tree rather than a stick. These here are standing dead hazels. They've been here for about 2 years. I've never cut them off, so I can cut them off at the base, and there's a evening's firewood there. The rest of it, this is an oak tree here, but these are all standing dead hazels, so I need to get rid of them. And the same with that batch there, much smaller, but hey, it's a free evening's firewood. Nature always brings us a little bit of firewood. Every time we get the wind, there's always the ends of the trees. So over the next few days I'm going to go around and pick up all this firewood and put it under storage just for it to dry out. That needs bringing up closer to the house. That's been there a good few years now. There's a dead tree there that I need to take out. There's a big bunch of dead hazels there I need to take out. We're never short of things to do. I think that tree there, see it? That one there is the biggest tree I've got in the garden actually. Won't mind clearing this corner out, getting rid of that hazel. That hazel there, there's a lot of dead hazel there. Then there's another 1, 2, 3, there's another 4 oak trees there. Neighbour's started his tractor up. I was finding around this part of the world that it's not the cars that everybody's envious of, it's the tractors. There's always someone that's got a bigger or better tractor than you. I like my little John Deere ride on, but my neighbours have all got proper tractors. The guy over there's got a huge excavator. Lynn was out in the garden, she'd been tidying all the beds up. She's done a really nice job of this one, edging it. This is a bed that keeps growing, I keep buying things and adding things. And then she's been all the way around this bed. Looks very neat. This area here is a new bed where we planted that new tree the other day. Then Lynn filled it in with some of the plants that we had in the garden, moved some, separated some, and then the chippings that we've been doing. This is our bigger firewood pile. There's a lot of offcuts in there from projects. Not quite sure I'm going to burn that. That's what, 2 foot long piece of 6x3 oak. It's actually the end of the beam that I use for the carport, but it got put in there, and I might run that through the planer and see what it looks like. There's a nail in it somewhere, screw in it somewhere. I need to extract that before it goes through the planer. I've got some oak logs there that's been cut down in the last few weeks. Actually, that's where the trailer's currently sat. There was a little tree I took down there. Usually this was the old barbecue that the people had before our house, and actually when we first bought the house and we got no kitchen, it was July and we used this area for cooking. This was the only point of cooking we had when we first bought the house. But usually we fill this full of logs. Not looking very good. In fact, this concrete edge fell off the other day. It's all falling in bits, and eventually I'm going to have to demolish that and we'll do something else here. But for now we usually just fill it up with logs, more just to make it look nice. Logs that's probably going to be seasoned for a couple of years. Right, Gracie, it's breakfast time. We'll see you in a bit. Oh, Gracie, mum's used oak trugs for her gardening. Wheelbarrow. Need a wheelbarrow. Okay, when I video edit this video, I can show just the good axe shots. The ones where I mistimed it or missed, I'll never put them in. Makes it look like I'm a really good axeman. They're not Christmas lights, not just yet anyway, but it's dark in there in the night, we can't see his logs. Right, it's cup of coffee time, and what is Christmassy is we've got some panettone. One pile of standing dead trees that can just dry out and go on the fire whenever, and then all the branches that's dropped off the trees in storms. As long as the 16-inch or less will go on the wood burner. See that tree there? It's not a really good specimen, is it? It's got no branches on it. That one's rotten and broken off, so is the one above that. The one above that is. So I think we'll have that one. Okay, so while you've been having a recharge, so I'll move the logs from the bottom of the garden. They're there under cover. Take a while to dry out, but that's okay. I just need to go and get the ones that I've cut this morning. And then there's an old seat at the far end of the bottom field. I want to cut that up and put that where the other logs are under that sheet. And the 3 or 4 that are remaining under there will come up and go in the terrace for the next batch of firewood. It's a lot of work, this. Sat the pile now for about 2026. All them dormant carpenter ants in there. All of a sudden I've come over all tired. Although I've been outside for about 6 hours and I've only had 1 cup of tea, so I'm a bit thirsty and a bit hungry, so I think I'm going to put this in there and just cut that up under that sheet that I put there last week, and that's me done for today. I hope you enjoyed coming with me on this journey, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.